Norwegian's Pride of America is going through its dry dock, and in this video we're going to be going over all the changes the ship has made. The Pride of America holds a special place in Norwegian's fleet. If you are not aware, cruise ships must follow the Passenger Vessel Services Act, which makes cruise ships stop in a foreign port on each of their sailings. However, Norwegian's Pride of America has an exemption to this rule, as this ship is registered in Hawaii. This means all the crew members on board are American, and there is also no casino on board. With it being an American ship, you can also expect the cruise fares to be much higher in comparison to other itineraries. Most passengers who still decide to choose this ship over others are just trying to complete their goal of taking that bucket list trip to Hawaii. Now, the Pride of America is certainly not the newest ship by any means, but it still serves its purpose throughout Norwegian's fleet. The ship was originally built back in 2005 and did see a refurbishment back in 2016. I think part of the reason the ships take so long to get back into dry dock is because of the pandemic. In such uncertain times, these cruise lines couldn't be spending a ton of extra money upgrading the existing ships throughout their fleets. These dry dock processes can also take a lot of time and forethought. The shipyards have very tight schedules and deadlines that they need to hit, so cruise ships can't just show up whenever they please. Hopefully, the Pride of America will recapture some of its beauty following its dry dock this time. Alright, getting into the changes now, you will notice that most of these changes are going to be a bit different from what the Norwegian Bliss and Breakaway experienced during their dry docking periods earlier this year. If anything, this dry dock is going to be a lot more similar to the changes that the Norwegian Epic just experienced. Starting with the most notable change, Starbucks will be added to the Capital Atrium on Deck 5. Throughout this dry docking, the big headline Norwegian is settling is that they want to plan more stuff for the guests to do on board. And then all they added for this dry docking experience was adding pickleball to the sports court. In other news, Deck 12 will see more staterooms added. They're going to be adding 12 new balcony club suites and 3 new inside cabins. The last change that's happening is the Splash Academy, which is their club for 3 to 12-year-olds, and Entourage, which is the Norwegian teen club, is going to be moved to Deck 6. The SS America Library, the Internet Cafe, and Chapel are being removed to accommodate these kids' clubs moving. It appears that Shuffle's car room is being redone to have both the library and card room inside of it now, to kind of clear up the rest of that move. Unfortunately, these are the only details that Norwegian has decided to share with us about the Pride of America's dry dock. Personally, I was expecting more changes as the ship is spending around 3 total weeks in its dry dock. I just think it's funny how Norwegian is branding this as we've been adding more to do on ships, but in reality, they clearly don't want to put a bunch of money into these older ships in their fleet. I think it's clear that Norwegian is more focused on spending money on their newer ships to attract newer customers, which you can't really fault them for, but I just wish they would clean up the messaging that they're sending out there. Obviously, they're just repurposing different spaces and not really adding a bunch of stuff. I wish they would just clear up the messaging again and be more honest and upfront about what is actually going to go on with these dry docks. Towards the end of May, the Pride of America will finish its dry dock, and then it will resume its normally scheduled Hawaii sailings. And this is all of the information I could find regarding the Pride of America's dry dock. Overall, this dry dock feels pointless, as a whole lot of nothing is happening. It just feels like Norwegian is trying to muster up some positive reviews for their older ships. If you have or you're going to sail on the Pride of America, please share your thoughts on the ship, as I would love to hear it.